Hey everybody, this is Beth Durinsky from Odyssey Insurance and Investments, and you're listening to the podcast Real Insurance Made Simple. As a working mom of young kids and a small business owner, I know firsthand life happens. So come along with me and learn how your insurance policies work when real life happens and you need them most. Hello everybody, welcome back to our first full episode, technically second episode in the business insurance series for our new mini series. This week we are going to be talking about why do I need business insurance? Trust me, I get it. None of us like paying for insurance, but we do purchase it for a reason. And the main reason we purchase it is to protect our personal assets, our business assets, and our income. Insurance is designed to protect you from a financial loss in the event something happens that you are not prepared for. So a lot of people need real-world examples or scenarios of how and why different coverages do what they do or how they work and how that could potentially protect them. I'm going to try to use hypotheticals mostly to help give you an understanding, and I'm going to kind of sprinkle that throughout the series to try to make it more realistic, because I totally get that this industry uses a lot of lingo and jargon that unless you do it every day, you probably don't understand, but we're going to work really hard to break that down for you so you can understand. So, what does your insurance for your business typically cover? One of the things it covers is negligence. What is that? I know it's a term that we've all heard, but to actually define it and break it down, do we all know? Well, I'm going to provide this answer to you in the form of examples. And one example that I feel like most of our brains go to and we can readily understand is medical negligence. Medical negligence is obviously happens in a medical setting where a medical professional does something wrong and potentially harms their patient. But let's take this one step farther into the business world. This is not all scenarios, but there are scenarios out there where people do contract nursing, or there are doctors or surgeons on contract rather than on full employment by that particular hospital. Or maybe they're a traveling nurse. That happens a lot where some nurses travel here for 90 days and they move to another place. There are some contracts that these nurses or doctors sign that indicate they may not be covered under the hospital's malpractice or insurance. So you are a contracted nurse and maybe you accidentally give someone the wrong medication. Where's your coverage going to come from for that if you're found negligent in that scenario? But that is one scenario of medical negligence. Another scenario would be a car accident. We all drive cars every day. We're all familiar that accidents happen. But when you own a business and you own vehicles that employees are driving, you are on the hook for their actions when they're in your business vehicle. And maybe an employee's texting and driving, or maybe they just happen to look across the road and miss the oncoming traffic. Accidents do happen. But texting and driving is a form of negligence in a car. And this would come from the commercial auto policy. Another form of negligence would be a slip and fall. You own a physical place of business that people come in and out of, and it snows or it ices one day, and you took a long time to get into the office because you had to drive slow, and once you got there you were running behind and you just didn't have the time to maybe shovel that snow, or you didn't have the time, or you forgot to throw some salt down, or you didn't have the chance to hire someone to get that out. And if a client comes in or a customer comes in and they slip and fall, that is a form of negligence on you as the business owner. And with these examples of negligence come the coverage for personal or bodily injury. Typically, personal or bodily injury happens when a business is negligent in some way. Let's go back to the 3 examples we've just done. That medical negligence, the personal injury could be side effects, both long or short term, due to having ingested the wrong medication. Harm to certain organs in that patient's body, or worse, even death. Of course, none of us want to think about that, but medical negligence can result in that. And the same is true with a car accident, that texting and driving negligent portion. You can call someone to have as little as a broken bone, or you can give them severe back injuries where they have to fight back pain their entire life. Or again, it could even result in death. And then the slip and fall, which were more common, we're more likely to hear about those in a place of employment. Maybe most of them are pretty minor bumps, bruises, maybe a broken arm or a twisted ankle. But, maybe there is a serious back injury that someone then sues you for and you are found liable and at fault for. Again, your insurance policy covers that personal or bodily injury that you are found at fault for, or you have been negligent and caused. If you are a business that manufactures products and you have a faulty product, then your insurance policy could come back and cover that. I just want to do a quick Google search while I'm recording this on examples of faulty products. Let's see what we get here. Overheating electronics. So essentially batteries in a smartphone or laptop that overheat, which could cause burns or explosions. Specifically, AI on Google is showing the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 was recalled due to overheating batteries. Or maybe someone painted a toy with lead paint. Mattel Toy had to recall some of their toys due to toys coated with toxic lead paint. Let's see what else we got here. In the automotive industry, defective tires. It looks like Firestone tires with defective treads leading to a massive recall. And then Tesla Cybertrucks were recalled due to a faulty tire pressure monitoring system. These are all forms of faulty products per AI Google. But we can go down all kinds of rabbit holes. Household appliance, faulty smoke alarms, or carbon monoxide detectors. That can really cause some serious harm to someone if their smoke alarm doesn't go off at maybe in the middle of the night, or a carbon monoxide detector. That could result in death. And if you were the manufacturer who created those, you could be found at fault for that. I think a lot of us think, oh, that wouldn't happen to me, or I'm not making a really large product or a really important product that's being distributed all over the world. But maybe you make this little nut or this little bolt for this one car piece, this one little piece that goes into the car. And there is just one thing wrong with this little nut or bolt, which causes a chain of events. And this chain of events that causes the car to wreck results back to this one little nut or bolt that you make as like an out shop, is what some, I think, manufacturing companies call them. And it falls back to you. That could happen. We always think about the big things, and we don't always think about the real small little things that could happen in our mundane everyday lives, because we do things on a smaller scale because we are smaller, but it can happen. Your insurance policy will also provide you a defense in the event that someone is trying to sue you for negligence or a faulty product. It also is designed to protect you in the event you are accused of libel or slander. Property damage is another one. Not necessarily your property damage, we'll get to that in a minute, but in the event you are working at a location or a job site, maybe you are a contractor who works with heavy equipment and you're working at someone's residence and you swing that piece of heavy equipment into the side of their home. Your insurance policy is going to give you coverage in the event you cause property damage to someone else's items or things. Your insurance, in a nutshell, is designed to protect your business in the event of negligence or a mistake that would cause property damage. Some insurance policies will extend for professional liability, which we will go into in a deeper episode, but that's more like malpractice or a hairstylist messing up someone's hair. You actually make a mistake in your profession. On the flip side, you can also purchase coverage as part of your insurance policy to protect your items physically. Before I go into too much on the physical coverage for the items that you own as a business, I want to back up and say a lot of times when people think about insurance, we think about how it protects our physical items. Let's relate this to the personal use of insurance policies. For example, homeowners insurance and automobile insurance. Most people think I'm carrying that to protect my home in the event it burns down, or I'm keeping full coverage on the car in the event I'm in an accident. We typically don't think that we would need the liability portion of those policies, even though they are there. In a business, the liability portion is very huge, and it is important to protect yourself and your business from financial harm in the event that something does arise that you are found at fault for. With that being said, let's go ahead and transition to the coverages provided for your business property. Your insurance policy can also provide you coverage for physical items that you own as a business. It can include business personal property, which is typically things at the physical location. It can cover what's called inland marine, but every carrier calls it something different. Some of them call it contractor's equipment, where the coverage can go with that particular item or group of equipment. So if you have a lot of stuff leaving the premises and not seen on location, you would want to get a different coverage for that. It also can cover your physical structure of the building that the business owns. It can protect you there in the event that something major were to happen, like a fire or a tornado or a theft. So today has been like a high level overview of the different things and ways your insurance for a business can protect the business and the different items it owns, the assets that it has, whether it protects it literally, physically, or it protects them in the form of liability coverages in the event that you are sued. There's going to be some repetition in some of these episodes as we narrow down and get more into the nitty-gritty of each of the different types of policies. You can go ahead and stay tuned for next week. We're going to specifically break down the different parts of a commercial package, also known as a business package, or maybe a BOP policy, a business owner's policy. We're going to break that down specifically. And in the weeks after that, we will specifically break down a commercial auto policy. That will be its own episode. Following that, we will break down a workers' compensation policy. And following that, we will discuss an umbrella. And then after that, I'll keep you posted on what's to come. That pretty much well sums up this week's episode. Everyone have a wonderful week and God bless. Thank you all for listening today. We hope you found this episode helpful and informative as you navigate the world of insurance. As a reminder, this podcast is never for legal or professional advice, and you should always consult your local and licensed insurance professional. We wish you a week filled with love and blessings from the team at Odyssey Insurance and Investment.